The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Friday, December 30th, 2022, Season 18, Episode number 98. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Morgan Studios at the Star, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. We were talking about the Cowboys' big win last night. Cowboys win 27-13 over the Tennessee Titans, a team that didn't really roll out all of their best players, but as the Cowboys said after the game, they are NFL players as well, and a win is a win. I will never be one to go on there and think there needs to be an apology for a win. It's the NFL. Yeah. Wins are hard. They got to win on the road, and we move on.
You know why?
Why?
I mean, I've convinced of why.
I think I know what you're about to say, but yeah, go ahead.
That's because we were here.
Right.
we were here in 2000.
We lived through those 5 and 11s.
Yeah, when we started working here, it was 5-11, 5-11, 5-11. And it was like, so winning on the road by 14 points in December, you'd be like, wow, when's the party, you know? And so it's hard to do that. And I get it in our world now. It's like nothing's ever good enough. But, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was ugly at times. Yeah. But, I mean, methodical in the way that this team keeps playing and, you know, and to pick it up and win like that, it was like, all right, good win. Let's move on. Keep rolling.
To get a 2-touchdown win on the road in December, as Nick said, Brian. I mean, I think it's got to be you want to. Yeah, there certainly were some moments, and we'll talk about some of the moments that you want to see them be better. Yeah. But the fact is, that's still a big thing. Like that's still a good thing, right?
Yeah, you got to figure out. And December football is all about winning, and it's all about positioning, and it's all about putting pressure on others to have to win. And they did just that. I know in all week long when we were talking about this game, it's just, hey, find a way to keep the pressure on Philadelphia. Go and win a game. And I was saying in our pregame show last night, I don't care if it's by 1 point or 100 points. Find a way to win. Find a way to keep your opportunity to win the division alive, and then and play that way. I think that these times that they go through now are really, really good. I think this, anytime you can get battle tested, a physical game up front, it wasn't pretty run blocking wise. I mean, there was a lot of things going on in that football game. And you know what? It wasn't really about their players. It was about, it was about who they had on the field. It was about your ability to kind of fight through some things. Because you're right, it's not pretty. But December football is not always pretty. December football is about getting to the next one and finding a way to get that done. It was a very physical game, a very tough, emotional game against Philadelphia. 5-6 days later, you come back and you have to play another one. Those are the kinds of things that your team gets battle tested. It's better for it. It's better to coach off a win than it is a loss.
You're not going to say it, Derek. I don't know if it's in your rundown, but, before on Friday or whatever day we picked games, Wednesday, Brian, what score did you have for the Cowboys?
I picked it right. I mean, but I mean, it's not.
It's good though.
Nostradamus over there.
27-13.
Yeah. Well, you guys have this big graphic, and it's got your name. So I figured
you nailed it.
So if you're gonna make this big graphic and put your name on there, you have to at least give it a go. But no, I mean,
you nailed it in prime time.
Thank you.
But that's to me. I can't stand. I just wish people could feel what we feel working here. I wish you could feel the relief of getting wins and moving on and not having to be 4-12 at this time and think about firing a bunch of coaches and all that stuff like that. Or, hey, what's going to happen? Or what player and with that and dealing with that. You're dealing with a team that is trying to get ready for playoffs. And that's the thing, and it's hard. It is so hard because you guys are right. We were all part of a 5-11 program for 3 years in a row. that's no fun for anybody. You know, it's not fun for the fans. It's especially not fun for the men and women that work in this building.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I wish that people could sit in our chairs. I really, really do, and feel what this is like. And you would understand. And I'm not trying to say that we're better than you, that kind of thing. I'm just saying we've been blessed to be able to be here and feel how hard it is to win these games. And when you win them, there's so much relief. And it's like, okay, we got another one coming up. You know, but that's what the season does, and you're still playing meaningful football to try and win this division. You put a lot of pressure on Philadelphia to have to make a decision about their quarterback.
Yep, that's right. And you know, I just feel like this team, it's tough to get a grasp on them after a game like that. I'm talking about the Cowboys last night because, you know, you look at it, and in one hand you could say, well, you know, they didn't really play that great, and Tennessee didn't have a lot of their main guys, and so is this worrisome for the season coming up in the playoffs and all that? Or you can take the other side and go, this is a damn good football team because you go out and don't play your best game, and you still sleepwalk for a quarter and a half and win by 14 points. That's kind of exciting because if this team does play to the level of their competition, well, great.
I heard you say that this morning. That's actually
true,
good. Yeah, it's a good point.
Because fine, it's going to get better than this, and you just got to get through it. And the Jacksonville was tough. I mean, but Dak has come back from the injury. They've not scored less than 24 points. It was 24 and 27 last night. They're the two lowest. They're averaging like 34 points a game. They've lost 2 road games in overtime to teams that are a little above average and fighting to get in the playoffs. Like. This is pretty good. This is a really good football team. 24 wins in 2 years. I don't care. I mean, yeah, you care about the playoffs, but these fans are like, I don't care about anything else. No, you got to build something here, and that's what they've done. 24 wins in 2 years is really amazing.
And I'd even point this out for those fans out there that are looking for, and I get it. Let me first of all say, I get it. A lot of this is the defense mechanism. You know, people who are trying to convince themselves, don't get too excited because I've been here before and I don't want to be disappointed. I get you're playing that defense mechanism.
Tough way to live life.
It is. It absolutely is.
Not doing that.
But beyond that, though, I mean, I think when you look at it, the one thing that I keep looking at about this team, as much as people want to, you know, style point wins, at the end of the day, like they have beaten teams that are playoff caliber teams.
5-1.
They're 5-1 against those teams. I think they're 7-1 against winning record teams. I'm not sure about that.
The 5-1 versus the 500 are better.
Yeah, they are. They are killing. No, I shouldn't say killing. They are killing. They are killing it when it comes to playing quality teams this year. And last year that was not the case. Last year, you look at the record, they were winning a lot of the games against teams that weren't as good.
Right.
The teams that were really good, it was a little bit shaky. That has not been the case this year. Not only are they winning, they beat the brakes off Minnesota.
Yeah.
That is right now the number 2 seed in the NFC, and they destroyed them in their place. There are a lot of things to look at to say, this team has some things working in its favor that make you think going in the playoffs, this could be a team that could have some success. Now, let's also be realistic in knowing that the NFL playoffs is a crapshoot.
It is.
Like when you get there, it is one and done. Yeah. So every week you got to bring your best, or you got to have some things fall your way. And by the way, there have been Super Bowl teams that had some things fall their way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you got to get fortunate. You got to be good with injuries. You got to be able to play good football. It's all those things that come together in January and February in order to win a championship. They will be in the hunt. They are as good as any team that's out there that's in the hunt. Then we'll see what happens, and that's the way you have to approach it.
No, I absolutely agree with that. You know, and I look at this team, and you talk about since Dak's returned, and they don't run the ball particularly well last night. I think Tennessee did a great job. Tennessee's numbers will tell you, regardless of who's playing up front, they are not going to let you run the ball. That team has the mentality of their head coach, Mike Vrabel. Their attitude is stop the run, and we're going to run on you. Mm-hmm. They didn't have their primary runner last night. But the thing about it was, as bad as you were running the ball on first down, when you tried to run or second down, you still were 62% on third down. And that just and people will say, well, that doesn't carry. That doesn't. No, this team on third down since Dak has returned has been one of the best in the National Football League. It doesn't matter what down and distance. You could put them in 3rd and 30, and they'll find a way to convert. You know, so to me, when you feel about, well, they just didn't do this, no, the one thing is translating is how this team is finding a way to keeping drives going. Even if they don't run the football. They run the ball for almost, a little over 2 yards a carry last night in that game. But what happened? 16 passes for first downs, 5 of them by penalty. 5 of those by penalty, you put them in a situation where they had to do something illegally to keep you from getting a first down or catching a football. So to me, those are things they told me, well, these turnovers don't travel. These turnovers don't. 1 year you're leading the league in turnovers. You're creating turnovers. It doesn't translate next year. What's happened? It's translate. It's the second year in a row that they're getting people to turn the ball over. These things matter when you get to the playoffs.
Absolutely. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our early first break. When we come back, let's talk about the offense. We got some things to talk about there that didn't go right and why maybe some of those things happened. And we also have something that went really right, historic to be, in fact. Nick tweeted about it last night. We'll talk about that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America NA, Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
The 2022 Cowboys Fan of the Year is James Wright, and he brings the spice to every Dallas Cowboys game. Jimmy needs your help to help bring him to the Super Bowl. Vote for James to be given the ultimate title of NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, by posting that and casting your vote at NFL.com/Fan of the Year.
You know what
Captain Morgan and Pose. There's kind of got me.
You know what I realized?
Posting and posing.
Captain
Morgan.
I saw a graphic we put on our social media promoting James Wright and realized I know this dude. Like, he actually hung out with me and my wife and like my cousin. We were in New Orleans for a game one year, and he was down there and just was a random fan. Mm-hmm. But he was walking around Bourbon Street with a full suit, like Cowboys suit that he had on, and just kind of came up and started talking. And before you know it, he just hung out with us for the rest of the night. Really cool dude. A little extreme, not my thing, but he's a little extreme. But I guess that's how you win.
You don't wear polos and jeans and get fan of the year.
Right. But real cool dude. So I'm happy for him. We'll see if he can win this
How
championship.
How did he beat out Miss Price? I don't know.
I don't know how anybody beats out Miss Price. That's a hard thing to do.
They don't.
All right, let's jump in. Let's talk about the offense. Last night, after going up 10-0 there early in the game, they had 3 straight turnovers, a fumble, 2 interceptions. Still ended up scoring 27 points on the night. But let's talk about that portion of the game where it just kind of the wheels kind of fell off a little bit. What happened on those 3 plays? And where do you kind of look at this? And what is there anything you take from that part of the game that makes you a little more concerned going forward?
I mean, okay, concern going forward, yeah. Yeah, it's okay because, I mean, you have a quarterback that is turning the ball over. He's making a lot of plays. He's making plays, and they just don't – I mean, they go hand in hand. You can't have a guy that's going to keep, making some of these throws and having the mental toughness to keep going forward and not letting it bother them. Like it's really, really impressive. But he is turning the ball over. So if you want to be worried moving forward, yes, because you're going to face better teams, and if he turns the ball over at the wrong time in the playoffs, like you said, it's a different beast, you could lose. You could. But he also could make that throw that he made to Schultz for the touchdown in the same game, and so I'll take the guy. I'll take the guy that's not afraid to sling it and that is scoring points for this team. The turnovers, yes, you can't deny them. He threw one really bad throw, I think, in the entire game. I think he threw one bad throw in the game, but I mean the other one. I mean, again, Hendershot is he's qualifying for the Olympics right now with the rest of his teammates.
Nick's team was hilarious. That's the best volleyball team in the NFL.
And they are. I mean,
we would give the University of Texas a run for their money for sure.
Yeah, those receivers, and then can't have a volleyball team without Diggs. I mean, he'll be on the team. So I mean, we've got the squad ready to go.
Diggs had a volleyball moment too.
Yeah,
he did.
Brian, I mean, you might have a different take on it. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not worried about it because you should be because it keeps happening. But I'll take the good because there's more good than bad. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think to me with the situation with the quarterback is. And maybe I need to have this rant like I did about the penalties because remember I said the penalties don't matter anymore.
It's not going to change.
It's not going to change. They're going to keep – and then every game now they've had 3 penalties. So maybe I need to will in a Dak is not going to throw any more interceptions. I think Nick is absolutely right about this. I just his aggressiveness – the interceptions that bother me with Dak are the ones where I don't think he sees the guy. Mm-hmm. I think his intention.
The defender.
The defender. I think that those are the ones that get me. That like, damn, what was he looking at? He didn't see the cover, he didn't see the rotation, or he didn't see the linebacker. Those are the ones that get me. The ones that he's trying to fit in there to like a Dalton Schultz in that play, man, that's a tough throw. I mean, I'm not defending the guy. He probably, but if you look at how the route developed for everybody else. He might as well just have taken the sack because, but that's Dak in that I'm not going to give up on a play. I'm not going to let this. I'm going to try and find a way to make this. I'm going to stand real tall on that front left leg and I'm going to throw it as hard as I can and hope that it makes it. But the way the Titans played their coverage, he had no chance on that ball. I mean, it had to be perfect. And at that point, he wasn't perfect. A little banged up knee, But like I say, when he gets really stiff on that front left leg and lets it fly, 2 things are going to happen. We're going to all be cheering, or it's going to be, defense, because that's how it is with him. But that throw that he makes there, that ball had no chance. It had no chance, and that's where you almost with Dak. How do you get that out of him, the fight for another day play? Because if you watch the way it broke down, like I said, nobody was open. Yeah. Nobody was open. And probably the guy that was covered the most was the guy he threw it to.
Yeah.
That's how, and then you got an all-pro safety standing there too, just kind of ready to, drive on the ball. So I don't know how to take that, just eat it and fight for another day. Because that's the way I'm the guy that says when he's muddied and bloodied, he plays better. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe he shouldn't be muddied and bloodied because that makes him play even more intense.
Yeah, his numbers yesterday, 29 of 41, 71% completion. He's like rattling off 70 every week, it seems like at this point, completing a high percentage of his passes, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, an 85.6 rating that was pretty much determined by those 2 interceptions. That being said, and Brian, I think you brought up an interesting point there. Do you guys think that a conversation should be had, if it has not already been had, where Dak is told, hey, maybe we ought to back off that level of aggression just a bit? Or do you think it's better to say, as you were saying, Nick, hey, I'm going to account for the fact that there's going to be a minus play here and there as McCarthy called it last night.
Yeah.
There's going to be some of those, but man, if I let him keep that same aggressiveness, there's also going to be plays like the touchdown to Schultz, like the 52-yard pass to T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
There are going to be those moments in games where he's going to let it fly, and we're going to see something really positive and really great happen as a result.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, I mean, we probably were sitting here 7-8 years ago, 10 years ago, talking about Tony Romo like
Absolutely
this.
We were.
This is kind of what Romo was, and you had to live with it.
Yeah.
And you know, and we know where it got him and where it didn't take him. We get that. So the answer to your question, I think, is yes, and I think that they have had that conversation. I think the center of the field, especially especially red zone type stuff, that's not good. Green Bay, like we saw the interceptions. I think that you're seeing, if you're going to take the chances and stuff like that, high, out of bounds, throw it like, and Schultz has had a couple touchdowns like that. Even 3rd and 29, 3rd and 19 last night. Throw it deep.
Yeah.
Deep ball to Gallup. If it gets caught, great. If it gets incomplete, okay. If it gets intercepted, as long as you make the tackle, that's a great punt. So,
by the way, great tackle by Tyler Smith. He saved it to be a 10-10 game at half. On the pick, it could have been
on the pick. Yeah,
on the pick.
Tyler Smith.
Tyler
yes,
Smith.
Did.
Yeah, he saved a touchdown right there. I mean, hustling. But yeah, I think that with Dak, the conversations you have with him about that, I think he looks at you and goes, okay, but then in the heat of the battle, he doesn't remember the conversation, and that's the thing. I think I think you really appreciate the fact that he wants the will to win and the will to complete the play and make the play. But I think that the one thing we cannot talk about Dak Prescott for all the good things he's done because of the interceptions.
Yeah.
That's the thing right now. Nobody wants to talk about the throws to Schultz or anything like that. What they want to talk about is, well, what happened with Hendershot? Well, what happened with – that's the first questions he gets a press conference last week. Sometimes he gets lucky. The other, like last week when he threw the ball to Gallup on the front pylon for the touchdown, I think he was throwing the ball to Pollard in the back corner. If that ball gets through, Bradbury intercepts it. That's the margin. That's the line this guy rides every time he throws the football. He rides that line of like, okay, I'm going to let this one fly. Oh, it's caught. Great. Or, oh, wait, they just made an interception. So I think they talked to him. I think he knows it. But, man, his turnovers are really overshadowing how well he's really playing.
So what's changed in his career? Because his first 2 seasons, he wouldn't throw any interceptions.
Isn't it? I think it is that this year his teammates have, 6 or 7 of the interceptions have been situations where it's deemed to not have been his fault. I mean, if you take those away, his number's probably in line with what he typically does in a season as far as interceptions is concerned, right?
Yeah, I agree on that, on the taking it away. But also, I do think you could find 6 or 7 passes where he probably almost threw an interception at the
But isn't that like every quarterback in the league? I think that's. I used to remember watching.
His seemed like
Brett
they have a
Favre.
little bit more, but no, Favre was the worst.
Brett Favre would
always
the ball would always hit somebody's hand, but they couldn't catch it because his receivers couldn't catch it. I mean, it's just that happens around the league. Defensive backs aren't great catchers typically.
Brett Favre's first season in Green Bay, just real quick, Mike Holmgren. We had Mark Brunell as a quarterback, as a backup, and Ron Wolf, the general manager, went to Mike Holmgren after like one of those 23 interceptions for a season and said, listen, if you want to play Brunell, I understand. And Mike's like, no, we got to keep going with this guy. This guy's going to get us there. That's the kind of sometimes the thoughts you have to have.
Yeah.
Like the general manager who brought Favre in is thinking, if you want to change the quarterbacks because of the turnovers, I'm not going to stop you. But the coach is like, no, we're going to keep playing with this guy. This is one of those things that with Dak, it's his DNA. It is his DNA. He is not going to give up, and that will either take you there or it will absolutely kill you. And you have to be willing to live with both, I think.
Let's talk about CeeDee Lamb last night. He catches 11 passes of the 14 targets he received, 100 yards. He became the 3rd player.
Can I say something real quick, too? Let's think about when Dak started, just real quick. When Dak started in 2016, who was his receiving core? Where you're like, Bryce Butler, Dez,
Beasley.
I mean, they had
was Wills Williams here? Terrence Williams?
Williams. See, I'm just thinking. I wonder if things change with your supporting cast. Are you more willing?
Witten.
Witten,
And Witten as a safety.
Yeah.
See, but I wonder if there was more. Was there guys that caught the ball better? With that crew, I mean, are you more?
Yeah.
Could it also be though too? This year, you look at the receiving core, including the tight ends. There's a lot of new faces out there. Dak didn't play for a lot of the early part of the season. Could that also be a part of, at least on the plays where guys aren't catching the ball, that maybe there's the miscommunication where guys just aren't on the same page?
I'm trying to find what is his willingness to just go ahead and throw it. Because maybe when you're just the guy and you're like, I'm not going to change plays, I'm going to throw the ball where they tell me to, I'm going to hand the ball off to this back. Those are the kinds of things I think that you think about early in your career. Now you wonder if the personnel has changed. Is there more of a willingness to throw? It sounded like the receivers they had back then, some quality receivers probably should have made some really, really good throws with those cats.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb. He became last night the third player in Cowboys history. This shocked me. There have only been 3 players in Cowboys history who've had a season where they've had over 100 receptions. He became the third. Michael Irvin, Jason Witten are the other 2. My question for you guys, this is kind of a big picture question, but thinking about where you thought CeeDee Lamb was at the moment that the Cowboys decided they no longer wanted to continue with Amari Cooper.
We talked about this
where
last night.
Where he is now.
Yeah.
How much better is he, or is it exactly what you expected from him at this point?
No, I didn't expect that. I can't say that. I've been on record. Somebody's going to go find it if I said otherwise.
Oh, they'll definitely find it.
No, I didn't. I didn't like the Amari Cooper trade. I still don't really, because now
why making you feel
now
better?
Hold on. Was DeRon Bland the 5th round pick that you got for that, or no? I think it might have been Let's-Go. It might have been Bland. I don't know. Whoever it is, that
makes you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit if it's DeRon Bland. But no, I didn't love it, and I said we will see about CeeDee Lamb because he hasn't shown that yet, and he needs. Who's the CeeDee Lamb that Cooper had? Who's going to be his guy? But he has been amazing, and I think honestly, I think it has all really started with him when they started talking about Odell.
I totally agree.
You think that's what drove all this?
Absolutely.
I think that's where it all began.
Absolutely. He had to stand there and answer questions about not being good enough that they had to bring somebody else in. And I think that put him on notice. And I'll tell you another thing. I think they're moving him around a lot more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that the one thing that I'm so critical of Kellen Moore of in play calling is when you utilize – I know what I saw at Oklahoma with CeeDee Lamb. And I'm seeing that right now with the way he's playing. That one of my favorite plays they run is the arrow that they run, and they move the pocket and they run the arrow in through the defense as it's all rotating one way.
Was that the Giants game that he dropped?
Yeah,
but he's caught 3 or 4 more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the play I thought they were going to run to T.Y. Hilton. I was thinking, how do you get T.Y. Hilton involved? Well, he's a little guy, so you run him through all that trash and then get him open back there. But they run the play with Lamb, and it's like as soon as you see the pocket move and Dak turns back to the left, you're thinking 28-yard gain. Every single time, because I know somebody on that side over there is open, and it's usually Lamb. But I think that Kellen Moore, I challenge Kellen Moore in the summertime, go watch his Oklahoma tape. Whatever Lincoln Riley did for him, you need to think about because that's the player, and we're starting to see that with this guy.
Yeah, and I think it's 100%.
I wish Amari Cooper was still here, though.
Moving around. Me too. Me too. And I've said this before about Dez and Cole Beasley. Dez wasn't a guy that really moved around a lot, and I think it made a career for Cole Beasley because I don't believe Cole Beasley could have played if Dez was playing in the slot and all that. All the way around, I don't think Cole Beasley has a role. So I think they kind of worked well together. But the best in the league, the best receivers in the league, line up everywhere, and they create matchups for people that say, just take your best corner and cover him wherever he goes.
You can't double a guy that's moving all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and that's why corners that do travel, if they can also play in the slot, then that certainly helps them because the best receivers in the game are lining up everywhere, and I think you're right. CD's doing that. He's lining up everywhere.
Yep. Let's talk about another receiver, T.Y. Hilton. Last night, most production he's had since he's been here from the standpoint of number of receptions. He had 4 receptions, 5 targets, 50 yards, a 28
How many
pass
first downs
was long.
3?
Yeah, I mean, at one point we were like,
That's
is
all I
everything
was
he
asking.
catches is it a first down?
That's what I was asking. That my vision of what Odell Beckham. Remember I was talking about the Green
that's
Bay.
exactly what you're talking about.
talked about it.
The Green Bay 4th and 3. I have an option now.
Yeah.
I have something I could. He caught that ball in the drag and made a guy miss. And now what is it? It's like a 20-yard gain.
Yeah.
It should have been a first down and but no, he's gonna take 19 more yards out of that play.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this team was looking for.
Exactly.
To me, when they were hunting Odell Beckham. And they're
Brandon Cooks, whoever.
Yeah, they're looking for that guy on 3rd down. You throw him the ball, and it's a 20-yard gain.
And no offense to any other player on how it's done, okay? But one of the big things about Odell, other than being injured, was just how's this going to fit? What right in the middle of the season, we kind of know what we think we know of him and all that. And again, he might have been better. Maybe he would have been or could be or whatever, but he's not going to have a 5-catch game like that for 60 yards and make some really key plays and talk to 4 or 5 reporters and say, am I good, and kind of sneak out without the cameras coming and being like, okay, good. That's not Odell. That's not what it's going to be. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because everybody's their own way, but I'm just saying T.Y. comes in, he's doing his job, he's blending, he fits, and he's so happy for CD and all that. Again, I'm not talking about Odell. I'm talking about what T.Y. has done, and it's fitting perfectly for what they want.
This is a move that probably at the end of the day, as Stephen Jones would like to say, is probably they caught a break. They probably caught a break not having Odell Beckham come in here and have to rehab and all the questions about that. And at least you're getting stuff out of T.Y. Hilton. You're getting a healthy player that's making plays.
Yeah, it's interesting. Last night, you mentioned CD in the locker room afterwards. CD was talking about having T.Y. on the team and what that does. And he was like, look, teams want to double team me, go for it, right? Because that's the beauty of having somebody like T.Y. He is an experienced, not just an experienced receiver, a really good experienced receiver. And if they can keep him healthy, which that's really been his issue, is staying healthy. If they can keep him healthy, he adds a lot to this team from the standpoint of not only the big plays, but as we saw last night, some of those shorter plays, and he can turn into longer plays because he has the ability to get the yards after catch.
That's the guy I was looking for when they were hunting these receivers. I was looking for somebody, a 3rd down, you throw him the ball, and it turns into a big first down and then a big play.
And Derek said that in the press box, talking about exactly. To me, it's exactly what
Brian was talking about.
For like
how was the barbecue last night? I heard it was good.
It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right,
compared to Jacksonville, and we were coming off Jacksonville, so let's be clear.
I wonder what else you
tweeted me
talked
about
about besides T.Y. Hilton. It was the barbecue.
The barbecue was better. Now Nick had a little moment. He didn't get a chance to eat his barbecue, and self-imposed.
Whatever.
Whatever. It was still good. It was a good barbecue.
It wasn't my best weekend for eating, but no,
it was not.
I was gonna say T.Y. and CD.
Yeah.
The play of the game wasn't thrown to either one of them, and it wasn't even caught. I mean, the pass interference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
52 or 51
yards,
51 yard pass interference. I mean, that's one of those where you just think. I guarantee you there are people that are like, what's the college rule again? I mean, does it have to be spot foul?
No.
I mean, that is a absolute.
Well, when your team gets it, you're like, I love it. Like, keep this rule.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
When you're the Titan fan, you're thinking, give me the 15 yards. Don't get. And Al Michaels was even surprised, like 51 yards.
I know.
And
That's a lot,
going,
man.
okay,
half a field.
He like hugged him.
Yeah.
He was hugging his waist. I mean,
no doubt.
You can't do that.
Yep.
No doubt. All right.
That was a bailout play. I mean, that changed everything. Momentum, the game.
That's Dak not giving up on a play.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
So I'm going to throw it. 2 weeks in a row, it's been a 51 and a 52-yard pass from here to there that's really changed the game.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, we're going to take our final break. We'll come back. We got to talk about the offensive line, hopefully get to the defense as well. Got some injuries to talk about on that offensive line and what that could mean for the Cowboys going forward. It's DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Homeownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
Visit your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com. A Fanatics experience. Grab Cowboys Nation-worthy hoodies, tees, accessories, Cowboy Joes, and more.
And welcome back.
The Cowboy Joe thing's sweet.
Is it called that? Cowboy Joe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Cowboy Joe logo.
That goes back to my era.
McCarthy, wears that, right? That's the one he always wears?
He wore his yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did. When you wore by the way, man, what a feel to have to wear all white uniforms on. That just was a mess. And they're playing a bowl game there tomorrow.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. At one point, what are you talking about?
Zeke.
Zeke, he's just like all
like
green.
A leprechaun. Yeah. I mean, he was just sitting there, just
Notre Dame throwback uniform.
It did look like that. But, he had a game that just, he scores another touchdown.
Yeah.
Another milestone for him. 9 straight games with a touchdown. The amazing part about that is, Emmett did it back in 95.
Took off his helmet every single time.
Right, every time. And he won.
Made a rule for him.
I don't think he won MVP that year, but he set the record for most touchdowns in a season that year at 25. I mean, Emmett was the dude, and they were into the Super Bowl and all that. And Zeke, it's 9 in a row quietly.
Yeah.
He's not the main guy right now. But I will say this, is everyone that says Derrick Henry, though, they would have, it would have been a different game with Henry, and it probably would have been. I think the Cowboys missed Pollard. Maybe not as much, but they definitely missed Pollard in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they missed that 1-2 punch.
Well, they missed some blocks, too.
Yeah.
They missed blocks in this game. Yeah, they had in going back and watching, there was some point of attack stuff. The tight ends weren't particularly very good in this game. They had some problems getting up on the second level. They let linebackers run through. I don't know if Pollard would have made much of the inside running aspect of their game, and then there were some cuts that Zeke tried to make that normally Zeke just kind of pushed the hole, and it's a gain of 5 or you spill for 6 instead of trying to cut it, and now it's a gain of 2 kind of a thing. So, yeah, to me, watching, there was some times where they got buckled. I mean, Tyler Smith got buckled a couple of times. Biotish got buckled one time. I mean, they really, and even Zach Martin, he's trying to help. He's trying to help Tyron Smith on a play, so he goes really far down inside, and as he's going now, he has to adjust back, and linebacker comes right through and makes the tackle behind him. And it's a play where you're kind of thinking, if maybe it's muscle memory for Zach Martin when he's used to playing with steel, that he has to help. Yeah. So he slams that guy all the way to Tyron Smith. Well, Tyron already had him.
Yeah.
And now you see Zach Martin kind of go, oh damn, and now he has to adjust back. There were some battles they lost at the point of attack, and there were some run through plays that really run through linebackers that really hurt them in this game too, running the football.
Speaking of the offensive line, Cowboys take another hit there. Their center goes down during the game. Interesting part, though, and I don't know if we know anything about that injury yet.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard anything, Nick.
Well, I mean, a couple things. I will say three things that I can kind of go off here. Number one, just seeing him in the locker room after the game, walking a little bit without the boot. Then he puts the boot on. You could just kind of tell the way he was moving that this wasn't major. I did get a chance to talk to somebody on the medical staff that said, we'll see. They weren't overly concerned, and that's pretty much what Jerry said on the radio about an hour ago on 105.3 The Fan, that they're not as worried as they thought that he could be. Yeah. Doesn't mean he plays this week.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him out against Jonathan Allen and Payne, you know. But I'm curious how I haven't looked at the tape. I think you did McGovern. How did McGovern? Oh, I was just going to ask about McGovern.
Oh, McGovern at center was fine, actually.
Yeah,
he actually was. The thing about it was the assignments, the way that his technique and things like that, not an issue. When they put Tyler Smith at guard is a little bit of a struggle. That was a struggle for him. And I think what happens to him is he goes from playing tackle to now, okay, I got to remember my guard assignments here. Mm-hmm. And maybe gets a little bit overwhelmed, and you kind of see him thinking a little bit too much. He is a really strong guy, but there will be those times where his base gets like really narrow, and he's like fighting like sit down on a guy, and then that's what I'm saying. He gets crumpled a little bit.
He's dealing with more power and size down there at guard.
At guard, and the guy like Tart, those guys, they're just so damn big inside, and they're going to play teams that have big inside players, and that's going to be. But this was a battle that I'm saying that there were some one-on-one stuff in this game that they lost. Yeah. And like I say, give the Titans some credit for playing the way they did up front.
Yeah, there were obviously three moves that happened as a result of that one. You got McGovern down at center. Now you got Tyler at guard, and now you Peters at tackle.
And Peters was okay. The thing about Peters is it 65 Peters. Yeah. Is it 8 Peters or 10 Peters or 12, whatever. That's the thing that you're going to have to worry about going forward. His block on the Dak shot to Schultz. He did a great job of holding the guy right there, and then Dak kind of slightly moved a little bit and then got the launch angle he needed.
This makes me wonder, like, these next 2 weeks are going to be interesting because, they're not as worried about Biadasz. If that's the quote, that makes me think over the next 2 weeks. Or
were they worried that he was out for the year, and that means he probably doesn't come or may not come back until 2 weeks into the playoffs, right?
Right, but I would think there's probably a chance that maybe he could give it a go. There's a chance he could probably play for the playoff game.
Yeah, these offensive linemen are like they need their feet and they need their base and all that. But guys like Biadasz, they're so tough. Mm-hmm. They're just like Zach Martin. Zach Martin got rolled late in that game too. Mm-hmm. He was just kind of by the pile and got rolled up on the ankle.
Tyler did too at one point.
It's just you're really at the mercy of how bad somebody's falling around and stuff like that,
There will
Grayson Allen in an NBA game falling into people,
That dude, that's unbelievable how he's still.
I know, but that's what happens. These guys get knocked into people and they fall like into someone's legs just standing there. Like really, Biadasz is just blocking and he kind of like, a guy just gets driven into his legs.
Yeah.
If there's going to be a lot of people in this organization, in the Cowboys nation, they're going to be rooting for the Saints, and rightfully so. If they do not win, there will be some people that will probably be like, you know what, good. Because this team needs a break. There's some players that really need a break.
I'm kind of like, there isn't a loss for me this weekend.
No.
Either way, I think there's a positive that can come out of it. I really do.
We've all thought this was going to be the 5 seed. Yeah. This is the 5 seed. The Eagles are going to win.
What are you going to be? Okay, we come in here Monday morning and the Saints somehow pull that thing out.
Well, let me lay this out for you. There are 4 games.
Blue.
There are 4 games this weekend.
For the Giants.
Yeah.
There are 4 games this weekend that could matter for the Cowboys.
Sure.
You got New Orleans at Philadelphia for obvious reasons.
Right.
You've got Carolina at Tampa Bay because right now, if you stay at 5, whoever you're going to play at the 4 seed is probably going to be the winner of this game.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you've got, if Philadelphia should lose, there are two games that then become really important to you. San Francisco at Las Vegas.
One loss each there.
Yep. And then Minnesota at Green Bay. Because those are the two teams that if you're going to jump Philadelphia, you kind of want to jump them and get something really valuable, which maybe could be a number one seed.
Right.
Those two teams both have to lose another game for you to be able to jump them if you jump Philadelphia.
And Minnesota's playing in Green Bay, and Green Bay is trying to get into this tournament.
Yeah. So there's those four games I think are very important to you. The first two being the noon games, New Orleans at Philadelphia, Carolina at Tampa Bay. See what happens there. And then based on that, the afternoon could be interesting.
If Philadelphia beats New Orleans, turn this thing into a preseason game. Do exactly what Tennessee did.
Absolutely. Give it to Washington. Do what you do. Have fun.
Let's see some of these guys.
Off.
Yeah, Micah Parsons. You get a nice looking Cowboy Joe hoodie, and everybody else gets.
Which really gives them a great opportunity because now they get more than the 2 weeks because they played on Thursday this week. So you really can give them a good amount of time to get rested and healed if you don't have to play that game.
But again, though, this is not a preseason game.
Yeah.
And the difference is you don't have 80 people on the
You don't.
roster.
No, you don't.
So you have to be selective.
But you can play. But the last preseason game is what they're down to like 60. I mean, it's a low number still.
Yeah.
Like it's 65 or something like that. Remember, it's not the whole 80.
I think they cut 22 players. I think it's 75 to 53. I think that's typically the way it is.
What I will say, though, is I'm not really worried about everybody sitting down. I just have certain guys like Micah.
We're gonna pick and
who
choose?
I feel like Micah's body has taken a toll this year.
Micah, out.
And that's an easy one for me. J-Ron Kearse is another one. Every week it feels like he's just battling to try to stay in there. Sit him down. Like those are the kind of guys I look at and I'm like, give them a break.
Can I ask you one really quick one? Do you rest Nashawn Wright knowing you don't have anything else behind him, or does he need the experience
He needs to play, in my opinion.
Was Diggs going to play?
Maybe not. I mean, that's one where I'm like, man, I want to see Kelvin Joseph. Let's see what Kelvin got.
Put Joseph out there?
Yeah, let's see what he could do.
And here are the Commanders. I mean, the Commanders might lose this week, and it might mean nothing for them.
Right, exactly.
That guy.
Do we know if we're playing Saturday or Sunday yet?
No.
We do not.
We do not know what.
This is all just like we're just
so weird.
figuring it out as we go. We'll probably find out. I'm assuming. I think our PR staff said that we may find out like Sunday night. But it could be until Monday after the Monday night game because the NFL's trying to see how they get their best matchups for that final week. So
it's not going to be Dallas, Washington. That's not going to be your best matchup.
No, probably not. I'm guessing we're going to be Sunday at noon. That's what I'm guessing.
The reason why I don't think
you're hoping.
The reason why I don't think that Dallas, Washington will be anything other than an afternoon game, and it could be Saturday, right?
It could be.
The reason why is if the Dallas, Washington game matters. It means that Philly and the Giants matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to put these two games not at the same time. So it's not going to be a night game. It's not going to be.
They need to play at the same time.
They need to play at the same time.
So it's either noon or 3. Yeah.
So I think that they're going to play in the afternoon together at the same time if it matters. And if it doesn't matter, then it's not a game you want to put it at night anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me say one more thing about playoff stuff. I did it last year, and I was wrong. I openly cheered for the 49ers to go drive down the field and beat the Rams, and cool, now we're at home with the 3 seed and all that stuff, and that did not work out well
it did not
at
work
all.
out.
I'd rather play Kyler Murray again. They should have done that. So I'm not really, as much as everyone wants to say, man, get Tom Brady out of there, let's play Carolina. We'll be sitting at the press box in Carolina eating Krispy Kreme donuts going, this Foreman guy keeps running all over their ass. And so I'm like,
I'm sorry. I still don't trust it. I do not want to play Tampa Bay.
I'm just not caring. It is what it is. Go play. Because
good point.
Whoever it is.
I got to drive to Fort Worth, Nick.
Sorry.
All right, folks. We appreciate you. Yeah, that's funny. We appreciate you guys, Jones. We'll be back. We'll be back on Tuesday, actually. We won't have any shows on Monday, but we'll be back on Tuesday. We will start talking about what's coming up next week for the Cowboys versus
Monday show?
No Monday show. No, it is a company holiday Monday.
Okay.
So we will not be on the air Monday.
Thank you.
We'll be back on Tuesday.
Cowboys cost me money here.
Till then, for Nick, we'll find something else for you to do if you want to.
Why not?
We always got stuff to do now. For Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!